emotions in college football. And for the final time this year, the Eagle flight.
Take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams. Still spinning free. Touchdown Alabama. They answer in one play.
Strange play fake. Bennett. Look out. Here comes a posse of Ducks. And it's a
4th and goal and a half a yard. Jackson. Touchdown.
Unbeaten and really untested except for one game by the Florida Gators in the fourth quarter. Saban and the Tide on.
What's up, everybody? Christian Ballard, sports journalist with Ballard Sports Media. Hope everyone's having an awesome start to their week here on a Monday. It is 4/21. But yeah, it's Monday. Happy Easter, late Easter, I guess, technically speaking. Obviously yesterday. Hope everyone had a good weekend, got some good food, some candy, whatever it is, man. Celebrate the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ as Christians. So that means a lot to me, at least, and that's what's important every single day. So, but today we want to look at some of the top draft prospects in the SEC for 2025. Now, obviously, there's a lot of great prospects out there. You really don't get until number 4 or whatever. With the SEC, you kind of go a little Big 10, Big 12 ACC, especially with Cam Ward of Miami. So you have that to start out. And I think that you're kind of in that position of, okay, when do we get to the Southern teams here? Like, what's the highest we could go? And I do think there's a chance in the top 5. My mock draft, and I've already shared it, but my first SEC player and highest rated, I think it's obvious he's the highest rated SEC player, depending on how you look at things, but offensive tackle out of LSU, Will Campbell. I look at him and I say he's a stud. I don't have, well, let me see here. Let me pull him up here on mockdraftdatabase.com. He is, it doesn't have his height and weight from the combine. But anyway, a lot of people predict him number 4 overall to the Patriots. I think that's pretty accurate. I got him going 7 overall to the Jets because I think that Penn State's Abdul Carter could possibly be a steal in the top 5 for a team like the Patriots. I could be wrong. But I think the Patriots could go either way, offense, defense, at some point in the draft, maybe special teams. But what about some of the other top prospects in the SEC? What do you get to? What do you look at? Who do you look at? Well, there's some Georgia guys out there. There's some Alabama guys. Jihad Campbell is the top linebacker from Alabama, at least. You talk about offensive tackles with Will Campbell. Armand Membo of Missouri is 8th overall, according to the consensus big board on Mock Draft Database, which I don't know if it's necessarily a trustworthy site. I mean, people put these out, they're opinionated, everything like that. And you got Jalen Walker from Georgia, number 10. You got Kelvin Banks of Texas, Mykel Williams, Jahdae Barron of Texas, Shamar Stewart. As you go deeper in the draft, you start to see more and more SEC players. And you'll see them on day 2 and day 3 especially. I think you could see a lot on day 3 probably. According to ESPN, these are the top 10 SEC draft prospects. And I think I had put a link in the comments earlier that you guys could go check out. But according to ESPN, the top 10 SEC draft prospects are number 5 overall in they had done like the top 20, top 25, 30, something like that. Maybe they did 50. I think it was a longer list. Um, of the top prospects, right? Number 5 overall, but the first SEC player is indeed Walter Nolan of Ole Miss. He's rated higher than number 2 overall in the SEC, Will Campbell, offensive tackle of LSU, we just mentioned. Then at number 8 overall, and Will Campbell's number 6 overall in the whole list. Number 8 overall, but the third SEC player is Jade Barron, a corner out of Texas. And then 10 overall, fourth in the SEC on the list, Armand Membo, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Number 5 in the SEC, 11th overall. And you really have 10, 11, 12, skip at 13, go to 14, 15, and 17, and then 20 overall. But we'll run through these. Armand Membo, the fourth best SEC player in the rankings. The fifth best is Jahad Campbell of Alabama, a linebacker who's been really good for us the last couple of years. Jalen Walker is 12 overall, but number 6 in the SEC on the list. Jalen Walker out of Georgia. And then behind him is his teammate, Michael Williams. 14th overall. 15th overall, number 8 in the SEC, Nick Emanwari, a safety out of South Carolina. Number 9 in the SEC, but 17th overall, Matthew Golden, a wide receiver out of Texas. And then Kelvin Banks to round out top 10 SEC draft prospects. He is 20 overall. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas. What do you guys think about this list? Let me know in the comments section below. So there's that. That's the top 10 SEC players. I didn't write the list, so don't come running to me saying your list is wrong, Ballard. I didn't write this. I'm just pulling it up from ESPN. You know, where are they going to land in the draft? I don't know, but I think that you're going to see a lot of SEC names. You'll see some ACC names and Big 12's loaded with Tatario, McMillan, Shador, Travis, all these guys. Shiloh Sanders, day 3. Um, there's a lot of different ways you could go in this draft. I don't think there's anything set in stone. The Titans are picking at number 1. They do need a quarterback. Cam Ward seems like what I would go with, so I got them taking Cam Ward. You could have Shador Sanders. You could go Travis Hunter. You could go Abdul Carter. If they don't take a quarterback, they could still get a guy later in the first round if they trade, or if they, um, they pick early on day 2. I think they get the first pick of the night on day 2. Let me see. No, they get the third pick of the night. I don't know what other like big needs they'll have, but it's still working on my mock draft, at least for days 2 and 3. I got my first round mock all the way in. It's finished, so there's that. What else is new? What's up, Nate? Good to see you in the comments. Anyone's welcome on the show at any time. I guess I've kind of talked about already what I wanted to talk about. Like, I just want to talk about the draft and some of the SEC prospects that are out there. You got a lot of good ones. Quinn Ewers, of course, from Texas, Isaiah Bond with him. Um, I think that it's deep for the SEC, but it's not the deepest conference. I don't know what I would consider the deepest conference for this draft right now. I really don't know. But Let's see. We got Nate the Great,
Hello.
bro.
Devour.
How you doing?
You good?
Good.
So I heard him do a mock draft, or you already do it?
Well, I have my first round finished. I still got to work on day 2 because
Okay.
I tried to do all 7 rounds, but basically, I have Cam Ward number 1. We're
Yeah.
talking about some SEC players. In total, I got, let's see, Will Campbell, Tyler Booker, Kelvin Banks from Texas, Jalen Walker, who else? Malachi Starks. I put Jalen Walker twice in my mock draft. What is wrong with me?
He ain't going
I gotta
two
fix
teams.
that. Yeah, unless there's 2 of them. I probably have 10 SEC players out of 32 picks, which sounds about right. I mean, it is loaded. I mean, even I think Kuiper and McShay have admitted that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not saying this is impossible, but I have a feeling that the Titans would pull a Falcons pick. What I mean by that, pick a horrible pick, over what do you call it? Skip over Ward or Shador or whatever. That's what I think. But
You think the Falcons or the Giants? Who?
no, I'm saying the Titans could
Oh,
pull
the Titans. Yeah.
because we've seen it before. Now multiple times I think. Now what I think. I'm not saying that Cam Ward is not good. I'm saying, in my opinion, I think he might go second, but I'm not saying he's. I'm just saying by surprising picks wise, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm feeling.
I gotcha. So let's see. I had to fix one because I didn't realize I had a player in there twice. That's my mistake. I gotta give the Lions someone else because I think I had Jalen Walker twice for some reason in my mock, so I had to take one out. But I like him there. I like Jalen Walker at 11 to the 49ers.
Would you put
Um,
some Michigan players? I know Miss Graham's kind of
so let me screen share my mock real quick.
yeah.
I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for this, but I don't care. Screw y'all.
It's your
Love
list.
y'all. Just kidding. Yeah. I'm not McShay or Kuiper. Oh, hold on. Okay, so here we go. Cam Ward goes to the Titans at number 1. I do think they take a quarterback. It is possible last minute I switch it to Shador, but I've heard a lot of good things about Cam Ward. He's been there, done that in college football. It's time to get him on the team. Travis Hunter might play both ways in the NFL, might not. I still don't know if they're going to let him do that. I guess you can, but um, I got him number 2 to the Browns.
Mm-hmm. This is a pretty good list.
You like it?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see. Who else we got here? Shador Abdul Carter to the Patriots.
Mm.
I like that. They don't need a quarterback. They got Drake May. So they
No.
just need I think the Patriots need to go back and try to build up their defense a little bit, get it back to the old school days. I do like this wide receiver to Terrio McMillan. Give Trevor Lawrence a weapon
Man, yeah,
for the
Trevor
Jags.
Lawrence needs some help, man. He needs some help.
He does. He can't keep giving it to ETN all the time.
Right.
Mason Graham from Michigan, number 6 to the Raiders.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
He's good. He's very high up there. Won a championship a couple years ago. Asterisk championship. But anyways, Will Campbell, LSU. I'm kidding. To the Jets, Tyler Booker to from Alabama to the Panthers, Ashton Jenningsworth, whatever, from Boise State to the Saints, Kelvin Banks to the Bears to protect Caleb Williams, Jalen Walker. I will keep him since I had him twice. I got to come up with someone else for the Lions, but I think he could go at 11 to the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Amarian Hampton, don't sleep on him. The Cowboys need a running back. Go after Amarian Hampton because Genty will be gone, but it's possible if the Saints don't take Genty, he could end up in Dallas. Ariante Ursary from Minnesota is an offensive tackle. Tyler Warren, I got to the Colts.
Not Davis Warren.
Right. Will Johnson from Michigan to the Falcons at 15.
Yeah, I feel like he was like a top pick, and then he's
For a while he was. I'm not sure what happened that he's fallen, but I've seen him outside the top 10, but he's still first round.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but
I guess it's probably one of those things a lot of these teams need other needs other than corner right now. So unless someone was to trade back just so someone could go get him,
right.
But I think the Falcons could be a good landing spot in that secondary. Demetrius Knight, linebacker of South Carolina. Malachi Starks, Georgia, to the Bengals. Walter Nolan of Ole Miss to the Seahawks.
Bowling Green.
Now, here's my first trade and pretty much my only trade. I think my Bucks will trade back at 19, go after the Texans, get 25, get some more picks. That's how Jason Light works. So the Texans need offensive line help to help CJ Stroud. Why not pair him up with a former teammate, go after Donovan Jackson of
I don't
Ohio
know
State?
who that is. I've never heard of that guy.
Donovan Jackson?
Yeah.
He's like a guard. I think he's played left guard.
Maybe that's why.
Luther Burden to the Broncos for Bo Nix. Steelers need a quarterback, but they also badly need another wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka is who I would go with because they could pick up a quarterback on day 2. There's going to be loaded quarterbacks on day 2 they could go after. Colston Loveland to the Chargers from Michigan. Matthew Golden of Texas to the Packers. Armand Membo is to the Vikings from Mizzou. Shamar Stewart to my Bucks. Siobhan Reveal to the Rams. James Pierce out of Tennessee to the Ravens. And I need to fill in someone for the Lions to get him a linebacker. And I don't know who was out there. I might have to look at the big board. What's up, Traveling? Yo. Let's see. Linebackers 2025 draft. They really don't need a I put Demetrius Knight. I think I did, yeah. To the Cardinals. I'll have to come back to that pick. I could see the Lions getting a linebacker, which they need, but they can go after that on day 2. So let's see where they pick here. I'll have to figure something out for round 1 because there's going to be because what you do, like you could take a day 2 guy on day 1, like it's legal, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to take early guys. If there's someone out there you could go get it, whether you need them or not. Oh. You kind of like the Detroit Lions being a Michigan guy. What positions you think they need in round 1?
I don't know.
They don't need a quarterback, at least at the moment. I don't think.
What do they need? What do they need? Like in their team needs? You think? Because
That's a good question.
Because
Let me see. NFC North Lions. Well, they had 5 picks last year. It looks like they took offensive guard, they took 2 corners, a safety, and a defensive tackle. I guess they do need some linebacker. It's hard to tell right now without looking at the depth chart. Lions depth chart. Let's see. Um.
I have to go. I'll be back.
Okay. See you, Nate. I got Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Terry and Arnold. I guess you could get another. They really don't need too much help on offense, do they? Pede Sewell, Frank Ragnow. That's a strong offensive line. They got Sam Laporta at tight end. They got Jameson Williams and Amon St. Brown. I'm stuck. They got Gibbs and Goff. And if Goff goes down, you got Hendon Hooker, Kyle Allen, and Jake Fromm. Might need a backup quarterback at some point. I don't know. I think for the Lions, it's building that depth, personally. I could see them getting Jahdae Barron of Texas. Now, I think the Eagles are building for depth, and they might take a corner too. Who's to? Well, you don't need to take that in the first round if you're the Lions. Like I said, you got Terry and Arnold and company. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'll get it figured out, and we'll talk about it on night one of the draft. We'll try to go live for it on Thursday. I got to figure out the Lions, man. But I had Jack Sawyer to the Commanders, Kenneth Grant, the the Bills take him from Michigan, Mike Green from Marshall to the Chiefs. Screw it. I'm giving him a wide receiver. I guess. I don't know, man. Could they trade back, and who would they trade with? Because I could see a scenario like the Lions might not need a pick on the first night. They have much at running back. They got Jameer Gibbs. They got David Montgomery. They're good there. Now, I will say they have a lot of linebackers that are questionable as far as like they could use like a type of middle linebacker or a strong outside guy. I guess I'll give them a linebacker. I just don't know which one I'm going to give them. Jalen Walker and Jahad Campbell are off the board. I'll give them a linebacker in round one. Ooh, it's tough to call. Anyway, So the top SEC prospects. We have looked at it. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I just if I the Lions were to trade and I mock it, I don't know who they would trade with. Like who needs to move up? Does anyone move up for a quarterback? I don't maybe. Anyway, I'll figure out the Lions moving forward. I got Jack Sawyer of Ohio State to the Commanders for pass rush alongside Chase Young. Kenneth Grant to the Bills from Michigan. Mike Green is good. He's a first round pick, solid guy from Marshall to the Chiefs. Eagles, just the Bills' secondary depth. Janae Barron. And to start out round two, because I have the Browns taking Travis Hunter, they do need a quarterback. You could get that on night two. I think they could take Jackson Dart of Ole Miss. That's possible. They could also go Milrow or Will Howard. I don't. Will Howard might be too high there. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Steelers took Emeka Ibuka. I think that he teams back up with Will Howard at pick 52. Will Howard off the board to the Steelers. Cam Scatabo next up. Buccaneers build running back depth behind Bucky Irving. Not that they need to, but why would you pass up a guy like that? I think outside the box. I think all weird with all this stuff. So, anyway. Mm. Um, yeah, we'll be live for the draft. Um, we'll try to go live Thursday for round one. Anyway, as if nobody else will join and everything. We only got one watching. I appreciate that one person, but I think we'll get out of here. I don't know, man. I figured we get a crowd today. Really don't. I don't know. Is Pete? Pete's not live anymore, is he? I think he ended his show. But there is good news. I heard a rumor this morning that they will be announcing tonight on the Lunch Money Show where the Slav Olympics is going to be next year. They said either Savannah, Georgia, or what's the other? Um, is it Charlotte? I'd like to go to Savannah. No, Savannah or Nashville. Sorry. Savannah or Nashville is what I'm hearing. But stay tuned for that. Let me drop Uncle Lou's link. Of course, if you're not subscribed to Uncle Lou, you probably don't watch college football. But anyway, it should be on his channel tonight, I think. Go sub up Uncle Lou.
Come on, man.
Anyway, well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see everyone next year in the Slob Olympics, wherever we end up holding it. It's going to be good. I think so. And yeah, I'm excited for the draft this week. We'll have to figure some stuff out as far as some more shows, but other than that, we'll try to go live for it. So I'm gonna get out of here, take a nap or something. Obviously, I'm tired from work last night. What did it kick me off for? Anyway, I'm back, but I'm out of here. So I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next week.